Three coins, three different years, and three completely different stories hidden inside American history. Today we are comparing the legendary 2005 North Dakota State Quarter, the classic 1972 D Lincoln penny, and the historic 1999 Lincoln cent. At first glance, these may look like ordinary pocket change. But once you look closely, you'll discover hidden history, mint secrets, design changes, collector interest, and surprising facts that most people never notice. One coin celebrates the wild spirit of the American frontier, another comes from the powerful 1970s era of the United States, and the last one represents the moment America entered a brand new millennium. By the end of this video, you may never look at these coins the same way again. So grab your coins, sit back, and let's begin our journey into American coin history. Let's begin with the most visually dramatic coin in today's comparison, the 2005 D North Dakota State Quarter. The moment you look at this coin, it feels different from ordinary quarters. It tells a story of the American frontier, open land, buffalo, and survival. On the front side of the coin, we see the familiar portrait of George Washington. Around him are the legendary American words, "In God we trust," "Liberty," and the mint mark D, meaning this coin was produced at the Denver Mint. The year 2005 appears below Washington's portrait, but the real magic begins when we turn the coin over. The reverse side of this quarter is one of the most beautiful designs in the entire state quarter program. Right in the center stands a giant American bison, powerful, strong, almost fearless. Behind the bison we see the wide open plains of North Dakota. The landscape feels calm, but wild at the same time. At the top we read, North Dakota, and below, 1889. That year is extremely important because North Dakota officially became a U.S. state in 1889. At the bottom we see Quarter Dollar and United States of America. This quarter was part of the famous 50 state quarters program launched by the United States Mint. The program became one of the most successful coin series in American history. Millions of people who never cared about coins suddenly started collecting quarters from every state. Children collected them, adults collected them, even schools and families began searching through pocket change looking for missing states. And among all those designs, North Dakota stood out because of its strong Western identity. The buffalo shown on this coin is not random. The American bison is deeply connected to the history of the Great Plains. For Native American tribes, the buffalo represented survival and strength. For early settlers, buffalo symbolized the untamed American frontier. At one point in history, millions of buffalo roamed across North America, but during the 1800s, hunting nearly pushed them to extinction. That's why seeing the buffalo on this quarter feels powerful. It reminds people of both America's natural beauty and its complicated history. Another interesting detail is the artistic style of the design. Unlike crowded coin designs, this quarter feels clean and open. The empty plains create a peaceful atmosphere. Collectors often praise this coin because it captures the spirit of North Dakota perfectly. Now let's talk about the Denver Mint mark, the little D. Many viewers may not realize this, but mint marks can completely change collector value. Coins made in Denver sometimes have slightly different strike quality compared to Philadelphia coins. Some collectors search for quarters with extremely sharp details, especially on the buffalo's fur, the grass, and Washington's hair. Strong strikes are more desirable. Another thing collectors look for is condition. Most North Dakota quarters entered circulation immediately. They were used in stores, vending machines, and daily transactions. That means finding one today in perfect condition is becoming harder over time. If you ever find a shiny, uncirculated example with strong details, it may attract collector attention. Now let's discuss errors. Error coins are one of the most exciting parts of coin collecting. Some North Dakota quarters have been discovered with off-center strikes, die cracks, grease errors, or weak details. Even small minting mistakes can make collectors interested. And sometimes ordinary-looking quarters become valuable simply because of rare errors. This is why many collectors inspect every quarter carefully under bright light. Another reason this quarter became popular is because of American nostalgia. The design reminds people of Western movies, cowboys, prairie life, and old American history. It feels connected to freedom and open land. The buffalo itself almost looks alive on the coin. That's one reason people remember this design so easily. Now imagine the journey of this quarter. It may have traveled across dozens of states, passed through thousands of hands, bought food, gasoline, or coffee. Yet after all those years, it still carries the exact same story of North Dakota. That's the beauty of coins. They are tiny pieces of history hiding in plain sight. Many people ignore them completely, but collectors see something deeper. They see art, history, politics, culture, and human stories. Now here's something interesting. 2005 was also a period when the United States was changing rapidly. Digital payments were growing, credit cards became more common, yet coins still remained an important part of everyday life. That means this quarter exists between two eras, traditional cash society and the modern digital age. And somehow, that makes it even more historical. Collectors also enjoy building complete state quarter albums. Finding every state becomes like a treasure hunt. Some states are remembered for famous landmarks, others for historical figures, but North Dakota is remembered for raw frontier power. The buffalo design leaves a lasting impression. Another reason this quarter stands out is simplicity. Modern coin collectors often say, simple designs age better. And this coin proves it. No overcrowded symbols, no complicated artwork, just a giant buffalo standing proudly in the American plains. Even decades later, the design still feels timeless. And honestly, that's why many people consider the North Dakota Quarter one of the strongest designs of the entire series. Now let's move from the powerful Buffalo Quarter to one of the most iconic coins in American history, the 1972 D. Lincoln cent. At first glance, it may seem small and ordinary, but this little penny carries generations of American history. On the front side, we see Abraham Lincoln, one of the most respected presidents in U.S. history. Above Lincoln appears the famous phrase, "In God we trust," to the left, liberty, and below, the year 1972 next to the date is the small D mint mark, showing this coin was struck at the Denver Mint. Lincoln first appeared on the cent in 1909. That means by 1972, Americans had already been seeing Lincoln pennies for more than 60 years. Think about that. This same basic design survived World War's economic depression, the Cold War, and massive social change. Few coin designs in history have lasted that long. Now let's turn the coin over. The reverse side features the famous wheat-free Lincoln Memorial design. At the top, United States of America; below, EPLURIBUSUNUM; and in the center, the Lincoln Memorial Building. At the bottom, 1 cent. This reverse design was introduced in 1959 to celebrate Lincoln's 150th birthday. For many Americans growing up in the 1960s and 70s, this is the classic penny they remember. Now here's something fascinating about the 1972 penny. The early 1970s were a very difficult time economically in America. Inflation was rising. The Vietnam War affected the economy. Gas prices were becoming a national issue. Yet through all those challenges, this tiny penny continued circulating everywhere. That's why coins become historical witnesses. They silently survive major events. The 1972 D penny may have existed during political protests, Cold War fears, and massive cultural changes, and today it still exists in collections and old jars. Now let's talk about collector interest. One reason the 1972 penny became famous is because of the rare 1972 double die variety. Although the famous double die mainly comes from Philadelphia without a mint mark. The year 1972 itself became legendary among collectors. People started checking every 1972 penny carefully. Collectors inspect the lettering, the date, and Lincoln's details looking for unusual doubling. Even today, many people search coin rolls hopping to discover something valuable. Another important topic is metal composition. The 1972 penny was made mostly from copper. That means it feels heavier and different compared to modern zinc pennies. Many collectors love older copper cents because they represent an earlier era of American coinage. Over time, copper coins gained popularity simply because modern pennies changed composition. And because of that, older pennies started feeling more historic. Now imagine how many places this penny may have traveled. It may have sat inside old cash registers, school lunch counters, arcade machines, or even movie theaters during the 1970s. Every scratch on the coin may represent decades of circulation. That's something amazing about pennies. They record time physically. The more worn they become, the more history they carry. Now let's discuss condition. A bright red uncirculated 1972 D penny can look absolutely stunning. The copper shines with deep orange-red color. Collectors often classify copper cents as brown, or full red. Full red examples are usually more desirable because they preserve the original mint luster. And finding one after decades is not always easy. Another interesting detail is Lincoln himself. Abraham Lincoln remains one of the most important figures ever placed on U.S. coins. His portrait symbolizes unity, leadership, and resilience. That's why the Lincoln cent became more than money. It became a national symbol. People often save Lincoln pennies for emotional reasons. Some keep birth year pennies. Others inherit old penny jars from family members. These coins connect generations together. Now think about the contrast between this penny and the North Dakota quarter. The quarter feels wild and western, but the penny feels historical and personal. One represents open American land. The other represents one of America's greatest leaders. And that contrast makes this comparison fascinating, even though the penny is worth only 1 cent. Its historical value can feel much larger emotionally, because coins are not just metal, they are memories, and sometimes the smallest coins tell the biggest stories. Now we arrive at the final coin in today's comparison, the 1999 Lincoln cent. This coin is incredibly important because it represents the end of an era. Why? Because 1999 was the final year before the world entered the 2000s. People everywhere were talking about the future, technology, computers, the internet, and the famous Y2K fears, so this penny feels like a bridge between 2 centuries. On the front side, we again see Abraham Lincoln with "In God We Trust" and "Liberty." The year 1999 appears below. The reverse still features the Lincoln Memorial design, but emotionally, this penny feels different from the 1972 version. Why? Because by 1999, America had changed dramatically. The world was becoming digital. Cell phones were spreading quickly. The internet was changing daily life forever. Yet despite all that change, the Lincoln penny remained almost exactly the same. That consistency is remarkable. This coin connected old America with modern America. Collectors often remember 1999 coins because they came during a moment of excitement and uncertainty. Many people believed the year 2000 would completely transform the world. And in many ways, it did. Now let's compare all 3 coins together. The North Dakota quarter represents American frontier spirit. The 1972 D penny represents survival through difficult decades. And the 1999 penny represents the transition into the modern world. 3 coins, 3 different emotions, 3 different eras of America. That's why coin collecting is so interesting. A coin is never just money. It is history you can hold in your hand. And sometimes the smallest details, a mint mark, a buffalo, a building, or a date, can tell stories larger than entire history books. So next time you find an old coin in your pocket, don't ignore it, look closely, because you may be holding a forgotten piece of history. And who knows, your next coin might have an incredible story waiting to be discovered. You enjoyed this comparison between the 2005 North Dakota Quarter, the 1972 D. Lincoln Penny, and the 1999 Lincoln Cent. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications for more hidden coin history, rare coin stories, and collector discoveries. And comment below, which coin was your favorite in today's video, the Buffalo Quarter, the classic 1972 penny, or the millennium era 1999 cent. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next coin adventure.